climbing a mountain. I thought, wouldn't it be so cool if I could climb a mountain? I didn't know if I could or how I would do it, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. Then there was skydiving. I could skydive. That would be really fun to jump out of a plane, going on a mission trip, and then also working in the Arctic and Africa, something that I always thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could travel and I could also work at the same time? And if you know me, you know that I have itchy feet and I can't be in the same place at the same time for a very long period of time, or go a little bit crazy. So this was my bucket list. And as I think about this, I think one of the things that I thought about was how, as I was creating this list, there was this voice in my head. So you know that voice? So I'm going to pause for a moment. That voice? Did you guys hear that voice? Okay, so that voice is the most annoying voice ever, okay? That voice tells me I can't do it. It's this voice that tells me, are you crazy? What do you mean? What are you talking about that you're going to climb this mountain, that you're going to skydive, that you're going to go on this mission trip, that you're going to do all of these things? And this is the beginning of my story of my I can'ts. So I'd like you to take a moment and think about your life when you were in high school. I know it wasn't that long ago for many of you. And I want you to imagine finishing high school and that time in your life when you're so excited and so ready to start this new adventure, to start this discovery of who you are. And then all of a sudden something happens where you are struck with a life-threatening illness and it changes your life completely. And imagine a girl and she's not able to even move her little pinky finger, and she's lying in a bed in her university, and her roommate ends up calling her mother saying, you have to come pick up your daughter. And in that moment, she realizes that her whole life is about to change. She was excited to be able to start her life, to be able to go to school and to experience what it was like to be an adult. And then all of a sudden, she's there and she can't do anything. And in that moment, she ended up being succumbed to this illness that took over her life. Her body became a battlefield, and in that moment, she was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus, an autoimmune disease that has no cause and no cure, that impacted her bones, her joints, her muscles, her heart, her central nervous system, her blood, and the list goes on. She lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks, lost her hair, was not able to do anything, and she had her mother basically bathe her and dress her and care for her as an adult. Can you imagine what that would be like? This girl, I remember, and I know her so well. I remember her tears, I remember her calls for help, I remember the moment that she said, please just take it all away. And the reason why I know this girl is because that girl is me. I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus when I was 19. And it was something that completely changed my life forever. I was a happy child. This is me on my horse. I love this horse. And not only was I diagnosed with lupus, but since the age of 7, I had been impacted by illness. I had seizures when I was 7 until I was 12. I hit my head on the bottom of a pool after I thought I was so courageous by jumping off of a diving board and thinking that I knew how to dive when I really didn't. And that night I ended up having seizures until I was 12. And then when I was 15, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and then 19, I was diagnosed with lupus. And then I had shingles 4 times, and I was in a wheelchair, and I lost all paralysis on my left side. And I'm telling you all of this because, well, that's where my can't story continued, is I believed that I couldn't do anything. I believed that my illness defined me. That's what happened in my life. And so as I continued, I had a choice. I had a choice to either choose to be defined by my illness, or I had a choice to live my life the way that I wanted to live my life, to go after all of my dreams, to do every single thing on my bucket list. And I knew that if I didn't do that, then all I would be is this illness, and it's not something that I wanted to be. And so I went after everything that I I wanted. And I think that one of the things that happened was that this illness really taught me a lot of life lessons. And I wonder, and I ask you, what would it look like if you were fearless in doing everything you wanted to do? If you could turn the impossible into the possible? If you were able to be fearless and extraordinary, what would your life look like? And so, I started to live my life the way that it was designed to be lived. And I'm just going to go back here for a second. And this is a picture of me in the hospital. And as you can see, there were tubes everywhere. This was normal for me. My bed was the hospital. And as I mentioned, my mom was the one who cared for me. But in so many ways, this illness became a blessing. It refined my character. It taught me courage. It taught me to do everything that I wanted to do. And so, as I said, I chose my life. And then what ended up happening was I remembered that I could be courageous, that every single thing that everyone said I shouldn't do, I should actually do. And not too long ago, I was in Bali, and I had just ended my marriage. I was in a marriage for 3 years that was extremely unhealthy and emotionally abusive, and I realized that the choice that I had to make when I was a child and when I was diagnosed with lupus, in terms of choosing my life, that this was something that I had to continue my whole life. That every single moment of every single day, I had to choose. And I felt stuck. I had the I can't syndrome. I can't leave. I can't do it. I'm married. How can I leave? But in that moment, I decided that I needed to choose me. I needed to choose that I love myself enough to walk away. And so at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I couldn't sleep, after many, many days of not sleeping, I pressed, okay, I'm going to Bali. And I went to Bali. And, oh, again, sorry. And so this picture right here is of Bali. And I was telling Nina, we were talking about what I should say. And I remember the day I ended up deciding to go to Bali. And the next morning that I was there, I ended up meeting this guy who was an avid mountain climber. And he had said to me, do you want to climb this mountain? And I thought to myself, no, like I'm getting through a divorce, like I just want to relax and chill out on the beach. I don't want to climb a mountain. And I remember the next day I woke up and I thought to myself, well, why wouldn't I climb a mountain? I'm in Bali. And so I decided to go. Without any gear, I had no gear, I had no backpack, I had no shoes. I actually had 3-year-old Puma shoes. And I ended up taking this challenge. And it was a 3-day trek. And I ended up climbing this mountain, and it was excruciatingly hard, and it was painful, and I was crying. But I chose. And I think the point is that we all have fear. We all have moments in our life where we think to ourselves, you know, I can't do this. I'm too weak. I don't have my medicine. I this, I that. And that was me. Like, as I decided to climb this mountain, I thought to myself, well, there's only one life. And my mantra is carpe diem. And I climbed the mountain. I remember being on the top of the mountain and bawling my eyes out, praying and being so grateful to God that I had this moment. And every single step I took was healing. It was healing for my marriage. It was healing for my health and all of the situations I had dealt with. All of the moments when I was in a wheelchair or couldn't walk and I thought to myself, why me? All of that was gone. And in that moment, what happened was I recognized love. I recognized the importance and the abundance that love gives you. When you're able to give back, when you're able to be completely immersed in love, in being able to contribute, in being able to recognize that it's what conquers all. And so there's 3 things that I want to leave you with. The first is choice. And I really want to encourage you to choose your life powerfully, to choose the things that make you happy. The second is courage. To have the courage to be in a space where you're uncomfortable, in a space where you might be scared, but choose and have the courage to be able to tell that person you love them, to book that flight, to change your job, and do whatever it is you need to do so that your life is amazing. And then love. What's better than love? And to close, I think that this is one thing that I know for sure, and that is that everything you have ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you and to be able to share my story. I really do think that we all have choices in life, and we can either have our circumstances define us, or we can have them refine us and have our lives be everything that we want it to be. So thank you. It's been an honor. Woo!